Do you feel like your best friends are your soulmates?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Then Hey Sister, Soul Sister is for you.
We're best friends that talk about life, love, empowerment,
badassery, pop culture, social issues, all while sharing a laugh together.
So come chill with me, Leia.
And me, Erica, every Thursday and become part of our soul gang.
You can listen to us anywhere you get your podcast. We are Hey Sister,
Soul Sister.
We're your best friends.
Are your soulmates.
Of Hello, I'm Listening.
Hello, I'm listening.
With your main host, Dani,
and
co-host, Woifi.
host, Woifi.
Today is very special because
Why is
it
it special?
Because not only is it our 100th episode of the
did
podcast.
You count? I didn't even know.
I did count.
Oh, that's amazing.
But we also have a very, very special guest. Who is?
President Obama. I can't do an impression.
Please don't try.
Hello, everybody. It's me, President Obama.
Oh, no.
All right.
What?
I don't know.
That was reaching more into Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. You see?
Oh boy. Anyways.
No.
The actual guest.
Patti Steiner.
Hello! And don't call me Patsy ever again.
Patti Steiner.
Patricia, sorry.
Patricia
we all know that
F.
you love
Steiner.
No, the only one who can call me Patricia was my mom, and I was only called Patricia when I was in trouble.
Ooh.
So don't like that name so much.
What is your middle name?
It's the most unoriginal that you can imagine, so guess.
John?
Yes, Patricia John.
Anne. And so when my mom was mad, it was Patricia Ann.
Yeah,
and
but that was the same when you were mad at me. Oh, for those of you listening who don't know, this is my mom on the podcast. But that was the same with me. When I was in trouble, I was Danielle Alicia. I was not just Danielle.
Yes, that is true.
Patricia,
because it's a very effective weapon, really.
It is. It is. You knew that you were really in trouble when your middle name was used.
Yep.
That's cool. Your initials are P.A. Steiner. You could be a PA, and you could.
Before I took the name Steiner, it was Pap.
Oh yeah, I know.
Do you remember we used to call her Pap Smear Patty?
Pap Smear Patty.
Or you did. That was your creation, I think.
That was your creation.
No, because I told you what Pap was because you didn't know what it was.
Oh, I knew what it was.
I don't think so.
You sure? I know what a Pap smear is.
Yeah, but you didn't know.
That's the thing you put on your bread.
Yeah, I love having a Pap smear in the morning. It's so yummy.
It's the best.
I have a Pap smear toast, please.
I might try ordering that the next time I go out.
2 slices of Pap smear toast.
Oh boy.
Oh man. Okay. But yeah, it's our 100th episode and we have your mom on again. And if you meaning the listener, have not listened to the first episode with your mom on, which is...
With their mom or?
With your mom. I'm looking at you, your mom.
Yeah, but this is a podcast. There's no visual context.
We need someone, like a third person who sits there and just narrates what we do.
And now Woifi is looking at Dani. Yeah. And now Dani is looking at Woifi.
Wolfgang is pulling his pants down. No, but the first episode we did with you, Patti, was about your accident and about your life with, like, losing a limb or a leg. And that was a very well received episode, and people really liked it. And it was also a fun episode. It was not like sad or
Wasn't all
negative,
serious and stuff.
Yeah. And so we thought we have to get you on again, Patti. Talk about the American life today.
Oh, boy. Maybe let's not. That's depressing. Let's not talk about that.
No, exactly.
How is it like to live in the most free country in the world, Patti?
I think it's just great. Just great living in America.
We here in Austria are not free, you know? We wish to be, but we're not. Because we're not living in America, you see?
You sound like a 1950s actor.
I was just going to say that. It was like a weird combination of kind of Southern, kind of 1940s. Look here, see?
Right.
Look, kid, you see? This newspaper is a penny and not a dollar. See?
Oi!
Oi, mate. Oi, what's the kangaroo doing there?
Wait, so you're Australian now?
The kangaroos took my teacher,
I thought your oi was British.
That's what I thought.
What you doing over there?
No, his British has transformed. It's no longer oi. It's only talking about watching Harry Potter on the telly with crumpets.
Oh my.
What you doing tonight? Let's watch Harry Potter.
Oh, and it's not like screaming, because it used to be
He's
British
much
was
quieter.
always screaming.
Let me tell you, we'll watch Harry Potter tonight, tucked in, eating some crumpets and having a cup of tea.
See, when he's quieter, his British accent is actually a little bit better.
It is, yes, yeah.
Oh, thank you. No.
Also, can we celebrate for a second? This is the first episode in a while that we have not started with you talking to the rats.
Oh, yes, sure. Yeah, because I don't see the rats. They're hidden.
That's been the last few episodes because since we're in the basement, the rats are like in eyesight right now. And literally every single episode he starts like, and he's just looking at the rats and he's going, Ollie, Classy, Sebastian. Just like talking to them the whole time.
Because they're looking at me. They're like, come on, take me out. You son of a bitch.
It's too bad you can't get them to squeak on demand, because that would be a nice addition to the podcast too.
That's true.
Yeah. We tried to have Ollie talk into the microphone
was just sniffing
one
like-
time, but he was just sniffing and couldn't really hear him.
Yep. But let's get to the point, huh, Danielle?
Like it's my fault.
Yeah, because you're talking nonsense.
Uh-huh. I'm the one of the two of us who's
You're talking silly
talking
willy.
the most nonsense.
Yeah,
We need to
you
talk-
really
we
are,
need-
Danielle.
Yeah, right. This is a serious program.
Program.
Yes. People are tuning into this program to listen to serious talk. Not to nonsense. People need to dwell and be sad while they listen to podcast, not laugh. So let's talk about the sad state of the world.
Let's not.
No. So our topic idea was funny stories from the youth. And since we're all people.
Or just stories from you, like stupid things you did or
Yeah.
funny things you did or
And we all have those stories where we. No, I'm not saying that now.
what
That could come off as offensive.
could backfire on you.
Yeah, I could be canceled for that. But yeah, do you have a funny story?
Who, me?
Yeah, you or Patti?
The thing is, I think my mom can attest to this. I was a relatively well-behaved child. And
What?
I didn't do anything, but in the sense of like, I didn't do anything that crazy. Like,
Wait a minute. Patti, is that true?
Well, she was definitely a very easy kid, except when she was 3 years old and less. And then she was completely out of control.
So before she
Completely
was-
out of control.
what?
So before she was 3 years, she was nice, and then she was out of control, or the other way?
What
The
is
other
this
way.
out of
Oh,
control.
the other way.
Oh.
So she was the first 3 years she was around.
I was out
she
of control.
Crazy.
She was kind of the terrible twos lasted for 3 years.
Oh wow. But that's I think that's you're just proving my point. When you like give birth, or when you get a child, you give it away for 3 years, then you let them come back, be nice for like until 8 or 9, and that's right before they get pratty, and then you give them away again until they're nice like, and adults, until you get them back at like 20 or 21.
Okay.
Who takes them when you give them away like that?
I mean, there are like I wouldn't say camps, but like zoos for kids where you put them and they get trained by professional dog trainers like Caesar Milan.
No, but I feel like I didn't really do anything that crazy. There was like one time where I told my mom I was going to my friend's house to sleep over, and really I went to my boyfriend's house. Like, she dropped, but she knew. The thing is, she told, because Mom, I don't know if you remember, I told you I was going to Sarah's house, and it was kind of random, like a random time of the evening where I was like, can you take me to Sarah's for a sleepover? And you took me there, and in the car, before I got out of the car, you're like, but you're staying at Sarah's house, right? I'm like, yeah, totally.
I don't even remember
Why
that
do you need all the condoms for? We're going to make some balloon animals.
What's a condom?
I thought those are funny balloons with little knobbles on them.
But I didn't do anything super crazy.
You were very funny as a kid because you were so independent, always
like funny
so independent.
Looking,
yeah. But like she would do things like she would disappear from the living room. We would have like one of her friends over, and the two of them would disappear, and all of a sudden I would notice things are way too quiet, and I'd go walking back to see what was going on, and they're having a tea party at the toilet, where the tea water is coming out of the toilet.
Toilet water tea party.
Yeah. New tradition.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you keep your toilets clean, the
right.
water is fairly
I mean, it depends.
sanitary.
Depends. If you take the water that comes flowing down when you press the button, then yes.
No, I
If
took
you-
it out of the toilet
Yeah.
bowl.
Then no, that's not clean. And trust me, I've been there.
I couldn't reach the other one. That was the only water I could reach. So it made sense. I mean, I theoretically probably could have turned the bathtub water on.
You could also ask for water, but
Yeah, but I think for me it was more like, what if they say no, like I can't have a tea party? So I'll just go do it myself.
Oh boy. I'm thinking of stupid, funny things that I did, but I can't.
You did a million stupid things.
I can't think of something right now.
I
which
mean,
is
just the
terrible.
prank calls alone.
Oh, that's a funny story. Also, kind of
Horrible.
horrible. I don't know. Did I talk about that on the podcast
I
before?
don't, maybe on the podcast once, but I know we had talked about it with my mom.
But what we had like this old what is it called, like where you put coins in, a payphone in at our school, and I don't know, I was like maybe like 13, 14, maybe 15, not older than that, and we had like in between lunch break or whatever, we had like an hour usually between the morning and then the afternoon classes, and when we stayed in school, we just tried to pass the hour not doing homework, obviously. And so there was this payphone, and we figured out pretty soon that you could reach certain numbers without paying anything. and one of those numbers were like a youth hotline for troubled children and teens.
Oh no.
and so we had this idea to prank call them, and we did. So I called them, and I was like, I'm home alone right now, and I can't talk that loud because I don't know if my dad's coming back soon. But my dad hits me, and then in the background, one of my friends was like, "Who are you talking to?" and I was like, "Oh no, my dad is here!" And then it hung up. That was like one of the things we did. Yeah, that was pretty horrible, but pretty stupid, but also funny.
But also pretty horrible.
It's very funny. It made me think of something that I used to do as a kid. I don't know if my brother and sister did it along with me, but for some reason I thought when we were on long drives, the whole family's in the car and we're all in the back seat, I would, anytime a car went past, I would like cling to the window like I was being kidnapped. So I tried to make it look like I was asking for help and like trapped in the back of the car. Like, you just don't even think about, like, you know, somebody might end up pulling your parents over
with a sign, like you're the sign where it says "Please help."
Right.
That's funny.
I also did. I'm really ashamed of the prank phone calls that I used to do. We were living in Philadelphia, so I was like 8th grade. And we would go through the phone book, which used to be a thing. There was a phone book with everybody's addresses and phone numbers in it. And we would just randomly pick out a name that was male. And if a female answered the phone, we would ask for that male in a very, like, what we thought was a really sexy voice. And it's like, oh my God, that's just awful. Imagine how many women, you know, had horrible relationship endings because of that.
I mean, most women probably were like, what child is calling all the time pretending to be a grown-up woman?
Right, and especially considering, like, this is how we did it. We were like, hi, is Frank there? Like, who's going to do that in real life?
I mean, especially if you were actually the love affair of this man and you were actually calling his home and his wife answered, you probably would just hang up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's something, Woifi, when you said they probably were just like, why is there a kid calling here all the time? When you're a kid, you feel like you can make yourself sound like an adult when you can't. That's like, Zach and I, my brother, used to call our high school when we didn't feel like going to school. And we would try to call ourselves in sick by pretending we were our parents. But I knew that I wasn't good at it. So I was like, I can't do it. So Zach always did it. And he pulled it off probably more times than...
He didn't do an impression of your mom.
No, my dad. But because he had a deeper voice, he was able to pretty convincingly sound like an adult.
How did he do it? Did he do it like, "Hi, this is Joseph Steiner, the father of Danielle and Zach Steiner"?
I could see Zach being pretty good at that because he's always been good at doing impersonations.
Yeah. No, he was good at it, but the thing is, the first time that I tried to do it with him, because I'm sure he did it for himself frequently, but there was one day where we were walking to school together, which we rarely did because either he had jazz band early in the morning and so he was there before me, or he just overslept, or whatever it was. But there was one day we were walking to school together and he was like, man, I really don't want to go to school today. I was like, yeah, I don't either. And he's like, should I call us in sick? I'm like, sure. And he uses his phone, he calls in and says the wrong thing, like starts saying the wrong thing. And he says, hi, this is Zach. And then he pauses and then he hangs up. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then he's like, now you have to call. I'm like, what? He's like, I can't call back. So 2 seconds later, the school gets a call from me. Saying that I'm Patti Steiner calling for my kids, Zach and Danielle Steiner.
Can you
were
please
both sick.
do an impression of that moment?
I can't remember how I did it.
Just do it. Pretend, yes, this is school. Who is speaking? Come on, do it. Yeah. Yes, this is school. Who is speaking?
I was probably super nervous. I was really like, hi, this is Patti Steiner.
That doesn't sound like your mom.
I know, I didn't try to sound like her. I just used my voice. I tried to sound like more professional, like a working mom.
Hi, this is Patti Steiner, who is working right now at a computer.
Click, 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 click. Oh, sorry, that's my keyboard.
I have lots of computer things and business.
That's the internet connecting right now. I'm sorry.
But so I called and then I said that we were sick and that we wouldn't be there today. And the woman on the phone, she was like, this is Patti Steiner. I'm like, yes.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. My coworker wants me to sign a business contract. Yes, coworker, I'm signing this business contract now.
And then she was like, okay, I'll make sure that everyone knows that they're not coming today. And we're like, okay, thank you. And then we hung up, and Zach and I high five. We're like, we did it, like all excited. And then we went to McDonald's to get breakfast. It was like we were ready to have the best day ever. And
You were kind of morons.
yeah, totally. And minutes after we had gotten our breakfast, we get a phone call, I think from you, Mom, saying that they had called you
Yep.
to confirm that it was actually you who called us out sick.
Yep. She was like, is there any chance you just called to tell me your kids were going to be out sick? And I'm like, no. No, I did not.
You were like, yes, this is Patti Steiner working. Click, 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 click.
And then we went to school, and when we got there late, so you have to go through the front desk when you come in late. And then she gave us this look, and she's like, She like gave us that like really like, yep, I know what you guys tried to do. Yep. That was a fail.
Oh man. I have a funny. I mean, I have a bunch of things that I did, but I remember in school, it was one of those times where we sat around waiting and not knowing what we should do, and we had this like balcony area. It was more like a roof deck, but in the middle of not like on the roof itself, but like in the middle of the level. It was like an outside area, basically above the gym. And there were like plants and trees and all that stuff, and it was nice to sit out there when like during summer or break time. And we noticed that there were like this tree with some like fruits on. It was like basically a little bigger than, I would say, like apple size, like smaller apple sizes. And so we took them off, and then we started throwing them because we were stupid. And then we figured, hey, maybe we could throw them against the school wall for whatever reason, which we did. And not even like 2 seconds later, the what is it? Not a headmaster. The guy
Principal?
who cleans.
Janitor.
The janitor came out, and he's like, "Stop doing what you're doing. You come with me." So me and my friend went to the headmaster's office, and he said, like, "I'm going to tell headmaster everything. You are going to pay for that." Whatever that meant. And so we were standing there waiting, and I have to say, I was usually known as the very well-behaved, nice guy.
Even though he wasn't. Like,
And,
all of
like,
his
that was
teachers
my-
were convinced
Yeah.
that he was like this angel child.
Yeah. That was my stick. That was my thing. I was always well-behaved. I didn't do anything wrong. So, but the guy who I did it with was like the opposite. He was known to cause trouble all the time, and to throw shit around, to come late, to not behave that well.
Was it Toby?
I think it was Toby. But we were standing there in front of the headmaster's office, and all of a sudden our gym teacher came by, and he looked at us. He said, "Did you do something?" And we said, "Yeah, kind of." And he looked at us. Then he looked at me and said, "Nah, you didn't do anything wrong." And he just sent me away.
And you probably just left Toby in the dust,
I left.
like, bye!
I just left. I was like, that's how it goes. Bye, sucker. And I walked off.
Yep.
Yeah. But that was actually a fun time. Once we had like those computers, and like after, I don't know, I was like 16 or 17 when we got like computers in school, which we actually were able to use, and everybody in school got like an account. So everybody had their own account to, not play games and not watch YouTube. And one time I logged into one of the computers in the library, and I must have left my profile logged in somewhere else in some other computer, but because the back screen was like some cartoon porn. I think it was like Simpsons porn, something like that, and a bunch of pictures like that on my desktop. And I logged in and I saw it, and I was just about to change it and said, "Fuck, what the fuck is going on?" in this moment, the library later, the librarian walked past, saw it, and my ass was open. She just grabbed me, and I had to go to the headmaster. I had to talk to a lot of. It was horrible. I had they played a prank on me. Someone played a prank on me.
Sure, they played a prank on you. Poor innocent Woifi.
Yes.
Didn't do anything.
No, I didn't do anything this
Never
time.
watched porn in his life.
I didn't say that. But I'd never used the computer for things like that. Obviously, in school, that would be fucking wrong. But yeah, I played.
I was one time at work. I was with a coworker, and we were just standing at his desk, and he's sitting there at his computer, and he was trying to find this website that he had found that you could get Microsoft products for free. So it's a website that will obviously have links to all kinds of crazy shit. Mm-hmm. And he gets there to show me, and he clicks this button, and all of a sudden, window after window after window after window is opening up, and it's all porn, and it's just like dozens of windows, just porn, and he's like trying to close them all. We're sitting here in the office, and it's like, I was like, Jamie, how'd that happen?
Oh man, yeah, that's embarrassing. That's very embarrassing if that happens. I think that happened one time in like a Zoom call. When I taught, one of my pupils took over and showed me something in the history, or like the tabs were still open, and one of their tabs was like a porn tab, like Pornhub or something.
Oh my God.
I didn't say anything, but yeah, that happened.
I'm sure that's happened in a lot of Zoom calls.
I mean, sure.
People don't realize.
Yeah, I mean,
or like TeamViewer.
That's
or something,
not my tab.
They're showing you their screen and don't realize, you can see everything that I'm looking at.
That's not my tab. I didn't open that.
I've never seen that before in my life.
One time, Matt and I were traveling, and we had a prospect that we were trying to win their business. And we're in our hotel room, and with this call was scheduled, we had to have the call with this prospect because we wanted to get their business. And so took a break from our vacation, and Matt is naked and he's sitting in front of the computer, and it's like a WebEx call. So we connect, and then all of a sudden we see their video. So we're seeing them, and here we are in a hotel room, and Matt's naked. And we were like 100% certain that our camera was also on, which was a very scary 30 seconds. It wasn't, thank goodness.
Wow. Imagine they were sitting there naked too, thinking the same thing. But Danielle, tell us a funny story from a childhood.
From a childhood?
From
Anybody's
your
childhood? I don't know if I don't have anything like super exciting to share.
Okay, then Patti, tell us the story about your pet crow.
Oh, that's a good story.
It's not a very long story. That's the thing. So when I was thinking about, topics for this conversation, I started noticing a pattern of my childhood involving animals, bugs, and sex. And the sex wasn't real sex. It was like I didn't play with dolls. So if I did play with my sister's Barbies, it was always because Barbie and Ken were gonna get down.
Nice.
And I mean, G.I. Joe would join in, and they had some really good sex.
I did the same thing with my dolls.
You did?
It's so funny that you say that, because I always felt like so ashamed of it. Like I had to hide it. Like if I wanted to go into my room to play with my dolls that way, I had to make sure I was really quiet and that nobody could
But did
possibly
you play out a
walk in.
scenario like, "Hey, Bobby, what are you doing here?" "Nothing, Ken."
No, they just went at it. No, it was
that's mine did too. Mine were just, that's all they wanted. There was no conversation. It was just like, we're doing it.
But then you make do you do little noises too, like
No.
Oh, mine did. Mine made noises.
At that point, I didn't really know what, that was a thing. I was too young to, I didn't know what porn was at that point. I didn't. Sure. I started doing that stuff with my dolls when I was probably 9.
Oh, wow. That's concerning.
That's
So it's
That's
like,
the age
it's not
I was,
like
too.
I didn't have any experience with sex, so how am I supposed to know that people make noises and that it's, it was just banging on each other, just.
I loved horses, and so instead of dolls, mostly what I had were there was this collection of a toy called Briar, and they
I
made
remember Briar.
they made these really lifelike little model horses, representing all of the different kinds of horses. And so it was a collection for me. I
How
couldn't get enough of
lifelike
them.
were they?
Yeah. And what parts were...
Yes, very. And yeah, they went at it also way more than Barbie and Ken. Those horses were
when you
just
first started
nonstop.
transitioning into that story, I got very concerned
Yeah, me
because
too.
you were talking about how your dolls would have sex, and then you're like, and then I had these horses, and I'm like, oh god, did Ken have sex with the horses?
Oh, I was going somewhere completely different.
Where were you going? The horse had sex with Barbie?
No.
Oh, where were you going?
Yeah, let's not talk about it anymore.
Oh no, let's talk about it. I think it's an important topic.
No.
The inner workings of Woifi's mind.
No. But
He tries to transition away.
you've seen the folder of drawings.
Has she seen the folder of drawings?
No, but you have.
Oh, I've seen the folder of drawings. Yes, Woifi used to draw lots of penises.
Really?
So
like
there's
an
this movie.
extensive amount,
There's
not
this movie
just
called
like
Superbad,
Yeah.
and Jonah Hill has this condition. He calls it a condition where he draws penises.
like
all the time.
it's an actual problem where it's not a normal level of a boy drawing penises because that's what boys do at a certain age. It was extreme. He showed me this folder of like drawings that he had from his childhood, and it's just full of penises.
But it's not only that. It's actually two people I knew having sex and making babies and stuff like that.
Who? What?
Alex and Ani.
Oh.
So we had, I don't know why we came up with this, but we at some point, like me, my sister, and the friend, we imagined one of like we were only in like the first 4 years of middle school. In the 4 years of middle school, I was, me and another guy were the only two boys in the class. And which we were picked on a lot. We were also, I'm not going into that, but it was not an easy time all the time because there were so many girls surrounding us. But at some point, my sister and a friend and me, we thought it would be funny to match the other guy with one of the girls and just pretend that they're together. And then we started drawing those comics where they had sex and they had babies all the time. Like that was the main plot of the comics. And so there are like a thousand, not thousands, but like hundreds of drawings of exactly that. And all the parts of the bodies were very lifelike and detailed. And some would consider the drawings pornographic. Some, but we still have that folder somewhere. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's somewhere. It has to be around somewhere.
It's somewhere.
But
You must find that for my next visit.
We
Did the couple ever see these pictures that you did?
We mocked them constantly with those. But yeah, that was a funny time. But yeah, I drew things like that a lot, and I started early. I was a very early starter with,
Early bloomer.
with exploring the artsy side of pornography. Let's phrase it like that.
Erotica.
Erotica,
There
yeah.
you go.
Erotica for teens, for kids.
For kids.
I remember we were sitting one time. We were like 8 or 9. We were sitting over in my aunt's driveway and we were drawing, and everybody was drawing like animals or trees and houses, and I was drawing penises. And my aunt was very concerned. She was very concerned. Oh man.
You should have just said God told you to do it.
Yeah.
God came to me in a dream.
You see, God told me to draw some dick. And
These are the penises of saints.
That's Saint Richard.
The holy Saint Peter, the holy Saint Richard, or for short, Saint Dick.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Okay, I can tell you the crow story, but it's kind of short, but it's very sweet. My sister was walking through the woods on her way home one day, and she found a baby crow that was, he just couldn't fly. And so she picked him up and brought him home, and we ended up just keeping him in the house for a while, and then he learned to fly. His name was Lucifer. And crows are super smart, really smart birds. Just a ton of personality. And once he could fly, we let him out. And so our backyard ended at woods. So it was like grass. And then at the end of it, it's just woods back there. And we had a deck in the backyard, an upper deck. And so we would come out onto the deck, and he would just be sitting there in one of the trees in the woods. And when he saw us come out, he would fly back and just visit with us on the deck for a bit, and play with our dogs. And my grandma came and stayed with us that summer for a couple weeks, and she was smoking, and he must have stolen 15 lighters from her. Because he'd be in the woods, she'd come out there, she'd light her cigarette, she'd put the lighter down, he would see the shiny part of the lighter, and he would come and take it. But the best part about Lucifer was that, and it was his demise, unfortunately, is that my father was just an asshole about getting his sleep. And if anything interrupted his sleep, I mean, just a complete jerk about it. And Lucifer, every morning he would perch on the roof right above my dad's bedroom window and caw, 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 caw. And I was like, that is the best thing ever. I love this bird even more. But unfortunately, that resulted in my dad making Kathy get in the car with Lucifer and driving out into the country and letting him go.
Oh, I'm surprised that your dad just didn't shoot him.
Yeah, right.
Me too. Very surprised. He would shoot dogs in the neighborhood. Like, that was another thing. So if a dog came through our backyard at night and caused his hunting dogs to bark, he would go shoot it with this. It's a kind of gun that I think it's called a pellet rifle. Yeah. And the way it works is you pump it, and so you can pump it really high, and then it's going to do some serious damage, or you can just pump it enough where it's going to sting but not serious injury. And he would do that. He would shoot dogs. And in fact, there was me and my two girlfriends. We found a dead dog in the woods one day, and it became like the neighborhood mystery. So we became sleuths, and we're like looking for clues and kept going through the woods. And turns out it was my dad.
Oh, no.
Yep.
What are the boys called? The Hartley Boys.
Well, there's the Harley Boys, I think is the original.
Hardy.
Like
I think it's Hardy.
Hardy.
Yeah,
Hardy Boys. And in South Park, they call them the Hardly
Boys.
They're not very smart, and they talk about their raging clues, which is a boner.
I have a raging clue right now.
My raging clue is pointing in this direction.
Clue goo.
What are the girls called that are the counterpart to them?
Oh,
Wasn't it like there was Hardy Boys, and then there were girls that also were doing that? Not boners, but
I don't know, and I'm going to look because I know that they exist. I don't even know how to Google that girl version.
The Tramps girls
of Hardy
Trampies.
Boys. If I could type with one hand, it would be easier. Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys.
Nancy Drew.
Nancy
Yeah.
Drew.
Yeah.
Nancy.
See, it takes several boys to do what one girl can do.
Right.
That's the moral of that story.
Hey there, Nancy. Gonna fetch your papa a beer, Nancy.
Okay, I have a funny shoplifting story.
Ooh, that's
Ooh,
good.
nice.
What?
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 What was the last word you just said, Woifi?
Nice.
Oh, nice with an N. I thought you said mice, and I was going to be like, oh my God. You understand what I'm about to say.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay,
You
so
steal mice?
all the time. But this one was
Like
actually funny.
living mice?
Yeah, like pet store mice.
You know, most young girls would steal jewelry or lipstick or
Yeah, right.
things.
I
and you're
did
like,
that too a
"Mice!"
little bit. Right. Well, this was actually a stealing rampage day. So we started at like the drugstore, the pharmacy, and we stole some gum. And I put it in. So I had this long white coat, and I put it in my pocket. And then we walked. It was one of those. What do you call the malls that are all outdoors? Strip malls. Strip malls. Yeah. So we just kept continuing store, and then we get to the pet store. And in the pet store, I grabbed a mouse out of one of the aquariums and I put him in my other pocket. And actually, no, he might have been in the same pocket he had to have been in the same pocket as the gum. So when we're walking out of the pet store, there's a security person walking down the sidewalk toward us from the pharmacy that we just stole gum from. And he's like, girls, I need you to stop and empty your pockets. And so I turn and look at him and I've got the mouse and the gum. And so I pull them both out of my pocket thinking I'm going to be slick. And I put them between my legs. So it's hard to describe, but reached behind me and put them between my legs and then squeezed my legs together. And so the coat, because the coat was long, was sort of pocketing them in there. But then he said to pull out my other pocket. And when I pulled it, I pulled the coat loose from my legs and gum and mouse both spewed out behind me. And so the mouse is like scurrying. The security guard never even noticed the mouse, which is nuts to me. But the mouse is just scurrying there. Who knows what happened to that poor baby. But the security guard grabbed the gum and we had to go and think we were about to be arrested.
Oh, boy.
Oh man.
For gum.
I stole money from my parents.
I think we all did that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that.
And I bought some
I used to steal cigarettes.
Oh.
Although I think I tried to steal money like once or maybe twice, and I felt so guilty about it that I never did it again. Like I felt like the thing that I probably bought with it, I couldn't enjoy. You know, I took like $5 or $10 or something, and then I was like, I'm gonna go to. Do you remember Drew's, Mom?
Yeah.
I would go
Nancy
there, and
Drew's.
It was like a craft store kind of, but they had other stuff. And for some reason, they sold fish, and I would like buy goldfish because why not? My mom and I were very interesting children, as we're coming to learn here.
What did you do with the fish?
Yeah, I took it home.
Yeah, then?
And you have a fish
Where? You
in
have
a bowl. And then it died because it's a goldfish and it lives like 4 days.
I got a goldfish in a bowl.
Yeah, but I would buy stupid shit. Or we would buy like ice cream or, just like I would be the big spender and my friend Libby and I, we all know Libby, we would go to get some ice cream at Baskin Robbins. I'd be like, I got this one, like super. And we would, that's something funny. Libby and I used to go to Baskin Robbins, the ice cream place, and they had a flavor called some sort of daiquiri.
Daiquiri?
No, it was some sort of daiquiri, but a daiquiri is traditionally made with rum. So we were convinced, Libby told me, that there's rum in that ice cream. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, let's get ice cream and then we can get drunk. And we were like, I don't know, 11 maybe a little older. But we were like, they'll never know, like, we'll go order this ice cream and they'll never know that we'll get drunk off of it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we would literally sit in the middle of Wauwatosa eating our daiquiri ice cream and act like we were drunk. But we like convinced ourselves that we were drunk because we're like, we just had so much daiquiri ice cream.
Oh, man.
Yep. Because, they would sell alcoholic ice cream to children
Yeah, sure.
at the Baskin Robbins.
I think the best part is acting like you were drunk, because you probably partly believed it.
Oh, yeah, totally. We absolutely believed it. And then there was one time where we ate so much ice cream that Libby was scared to go home because she thought that her dad would know that she was drunk. And we're like, what are we going to do if our parents find out?
Libby, are you drunk? No, sir. No, no. Just had some ice cream.
What's that on your chin? Is that daiquiri ice cream?
Did you have daiquiri ice cream again? I told you. We have to go to the pastor again.
Oh, boy.
All right, here's a funny one that, it was funny at the time. It's still funny to me now, but not in the same way. So I'm about 6 years old. My sister's 7, and we were living in Alameda, California, on this Navy base. And there was a little girl who lived a couple houses down. Her name was Judy B. I won't say her last name just in case. And the B really should have stood for boogers, because she was one of those kids who always had the green slimy snot in her nose, like always running down her face, always. I was like, oh God, that's the thing I most remember about her, except this story. So in this story, me and my sister and I went to Judy's house, and we're sitting on her front porch. And somebody said something funny. And so we're all sitting on the floor with our legs spread out. Mm-hmm. And somebody said something funny, and Judy starts laughing and laughing and laughing. And the next thing we know, pee is just flowing out between her legs, covering the floor. And then, of course, that makes us all laugh harder. And then my sister starts peeing. And so it's like, now I'm laughing even harder than, but I'm like feeling pressure. And it's like, I don't feel like I need to pee, but I need to be part of this moment.
Oh, no.
And so I did. I forced myself to pee just to be part of it. Oh, kids are just nuts.
Oh, man.
I like that's the thing that made you feel left out of something. Like, I didn't pee my pants in front of these people.
Right.
Peer pressure, Danielle.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It didn't even feel like peer pressure. It was like, I want to be part of this moment. And I have to say, there was something really uplifting about being able to do what you're not supposed to do, and just complete freedom. Just gonna do it. I know it's wrong, but
yeah, I was gonna say it must be kind of freeing.
You know what's funny about that story?
I'm just gonna pee right now.
You know what's funny about the story? That you basically made it seem in the beginning, talking about the boogers, that it's about the boogers. It was so irrelevant to talk about it.
It made the story unexpected.
But it helps to build the imagery, right? Because you're not only seeing her sitting there and peeing, but you're also seeing green boogers flowing down her face as she's doing that.
I actually did. That's exactly how I pictured her sitting there.
Sure.
See, Woifi always gives me crap because he says that my stories are too long. Like, when I tell a story about something, it's too long. And he hasn't said it in a long time, only because I know now I hold back. And I now have to make sure I have so much stress when I tell him a story because I want to keep it as short as possible. But
yeah, Danielle,
this proves my point that it adds to the storytelling experience and story hearing experience.
I agree, but the story wasn't long.
No, but
that's
there was
when you tell a story.
I'm talking about that there are details that don't need to be there, but that's the thing you complain about. You say, "I didn't need to know that."
Yeah.
What's the point of the story?
Danielle, you need to be more. It's like making a good movie, or making a too long movie where you tell too much story and bullshit that nobody needs to know.
Yeah, but what is it with you when we're recording a podcast and sometimes you go on these like 5-minute rants where I cannot interject because you're just like talking
that's passion.
Without end.
Danielle, that's passion.
Nonsense. Okay, so that's passion.
That's passion.
But
when you're really passionate about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing more to that sentence. That's it.
Yeah. passion.
Well, at least now you know, Danielle, that the next time you're telling an overly long story, that you can tell him that you're telling it that way because of your passion.
That's true. That's true. But, he'll find some way to turn it back on me. Like,
yeah,
no,
I
it doesn't count.
I will, yeah.
Yep.
Should we end it? Huh?
How long is it now?
It's almost, I think it's 45 minutes.
Oh. Well, then maybe. Otherwise, our listeners are going to maybe go crazy.
Yeah. So, Patti, tell us, how is the life in the blessed land of America?
Oh, America is just the greatest. It's just the greatest. We don't need to be made great again because we've always been so great.
I totally agree. And so, how many guns do you own?
Well, if you count my cannon, which I usually do include my cannon in the count,
Yes,
I've got 15 of them.
That's an impressive collection.
Yep. I have them on my walls. As I don't have pictures. I've got my guns on the walls, and the cannon is a footstool in my living room.
Did it actually go off at some point when you sat on it?
Oh, no. It only goes off on the 4th of July when I shoot some blasts over my neighbor's house.
As it should. You're a good American right there.
Yep.
If only you were a man.
Yeah. If only you were a man with a beard.
Yeah, that does make me less, I know.
You should consider getting one of those transplant penises.
I would never do anything like that. It's an abomination before my Lord Jesus. I think we need a podcast of just that. Let's just do Merca podcast.
Merca. Good day, you Americans. This is America podcast coming right to you from the American soil to your American households from real Americans. My name is John American. My co-host is Danielle American with Patti American.
American Patty Pie.
Patty pie.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Let's end it now. Let's end it with this.
All right. Well, it was a delight to have you on again.
Yes. And if people say otherwise,
fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. No.
Go to hell. Go to hell.
Unless you're an American, then don't go to hell. Just try your gun. But if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing and leave a like or rate the podcast. And we hear each other next week.
Indubitably.
Goodbye.
Watch out for deer.
Goodbye.